Hello, I am Ilan Kelman. I am a professor at University College London in the UK and the University of Agder in Norway. I'm very fortunate to be leading a project kindly funded by the Belmont Forum on community collective action to respond to climate change influencing the environment health nexus. We have wonderful partners in the US, in Norway, and in Trinidad and Tobago. But most of all will be the people and organizations who we will be collaborating with in the two locations which we are looking at for the project, Sitka in Alaska and Toko in Trinidad and Tobago. The idea is to compare Arctic and small tropical island locations because they do obviously have clear differences in the climate. But when it comes to climate change, they are projected to be affected quite similarly and are actually undergoing some similar impacts at the moment. They also have many similarities in terms of their lives and livelihoods. So they are coastal. They are relatively small in population. They depend a lot on natural resources in the environment for their lives and livelihoods, including fishing, which means that we are going to look at how climate change and health intersect in these areas, both the similarities and the differences. We are going to focus on three areas which are particularly affected by climate change. So the first is heat. And the reason is that the impact of climate change on weather is most concerning when it comes to heat waves, air temperature, and long-term trends. Because we have before dealt with many heat waves with different degrees of success, but we know how to do it if we choose. The challenge with climate change is that it is going to push heat and humidity combinations into regimes which last for such a long time that we cannot really survive outdoors. Without indoor cooling where we live or where we work, then we're going to have a very high death rate, which means that people who work outdoors, such as agricultural laborers and fishers, are going to have a really hard time surviving during these periods of heat and humidity caused by climate change. The second area which we are looking at is infectious disease. And there are many complications in terms of how climate change affects disease spread, disease incidence, the vectors, and how we deal with it. We also recognize that infectious disease is not just linked to climate change as shown by the 2020 COVID-19 pandemic. So we have to think about health and health systems under climate change, but also about the other factors which impact on some of these issues, particularly the second area of our focus of infectious disease. And then the third area which we are thinking about is food. This overlaps with nutrition and water. We also recognize how heat is going to impact crops and livestock as well as infectious disease because it's not just about disease affecting people. So this means that the environment health nexus under climate change really comes together in these three areas of heat, infectious disease, and food. The idea is that we will be working with people and organizations in the locations we are looking at to understand their health needs and their health interests. What concerns do they have? What opportunities do they have? What health systems exist already? What health systems do they want? And how will climate change affect their health needs, health concerns, health opportunities, and health systems, particularly in the areas of heat, infectious disease, and food? Also, how do the people in Sitka and Toko think that their health and health systems are going to be affected by climate change? What do they need to do about it? What do they want to do about it? What resources do they have? What resources do they not have? And also, what can they offer us? There is so much which we need to learn for ourselves. So this is very much an exchange in terms of trying to learn from everyone, put out knowledge, ideas, wisdom, recommendations, and actions in order to say that yes, they are small island communities, often marginalized, depend on natural resources. They are expected to be hit hard by climate change, but so are we, so are many others. So how can we learn from each other to build a better future? We do this through science. We are researchers. This is fundamentally a project to produce an original substantive contribution to knowledge and hopefully building up that knowledge for wisdom. But it is very much science for society. We have to ensure that we are contributing to the people most affected, contributing to those who kindly give up their time to work with us, So we must come up with very practical and actionable ideas, recommendations, suggestions, and advice on dealing with climate change and health. There are many challenges going on at the moment and more expected in the future, but this is also about opportunities to ensure that we are all working together to ensure that we can deal with the environment health nexus under climate change. Thank you.